What's up, guys? Isaiah here from Goo Gaming. I have Logan here with me again today, and we're going to be doing a breakdown video over the PPG, looking at the decks. Maybe it'll give us a little bit of insight on what to see at YCS Charlotte this coming up weekend. Don't forget, we'll be vlogging YCS Charlotte as much as we can, and that will be posted next week. But make sure if you guys are at YCS Charlotte, we're really excited to meet all you guys, so make sure you come up to us, say hey. You want to play some Edison? We'll be down to play some Edison all weekend, and we hope to see you guys there. Let's get in the video. All right, guys, so this is the breakdown for the PPG in Kentucky this past weekend. As you can see, there's a lot of Prank Kids. I think Prank Kids is definitely the most represented deck this format. Just because it's not a very expensive deck, and it's a very, very strong deck. Outside of the Brave, of course, but 31% of the top cut for this, I feel like it's quite a bit. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I think Prank Kids is like the best one card engine deck as well as like everyone wants to play like a ton of hand traps this format. What I'm more surprised about is the fact that there is no based nor any of the Tinny Rose Dragon deck in the top 16 at all. Um, it's very surprising.
Yeah, the closest to base is 3-axis, and there's a very small amount of that. I think I've heard a lot of people say that Plunder has a really good Prank Kid matchup. I don't know how true that is, but there was two Plunder decks that ended up getting the top 16. I wish we had a breakdown for the decks in the whole event.
Yeah, that would be nice, but it was only a 200 some person event, so um, I would treat the obviously there was better players at this event than like an average regional, but I would definitely take this an event more of like a regional than like a premier event, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. The Sun Avalon squeezing in as many decks as 3-axis Panel is kind of wild. I don't even know what Sun Avalon does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it just locks you out of special summoning. At least I think that's what most builds do.
All right, so first place was actually a DB Grinder with his Prank Kid deck. Inter 60 card Prank Kid deck. He did say that he did not want to play Gamma. He was wanting to play Droplet, but he didn't have Droplet, so he ended up playing Gamma.
This is very similar to the deck that I've been playing for the past few weeks. There's nothing really to say about this deck. It's just super powerful. It plays through the most hand traps, and I'm not really surprised that it won the event.
What about the Archfiend Centric?
Um, so I'm not sure if I'm guessing this is actually in his list. But I believe in their videos they didn't put this in there. From what I'm understanding. So I don't know if they want to keep this secret or what. The only thing I can think of, and the reason they're playing this is because it's a bridge for Small World, so you can get to like token collector if you'd like, but also the fact that you can. It's a Small World searchable out to Mystic Mine and other floodgates.
Yeah, I did see that they did not post it in their deck profiles, but I saw some people in the comments saying that they saw them playing it, so they probably wanted to keep it a secret.
Yeah, or it just wasn't very good.
Yeah, one of the two. All right, second place was Sean. He's playing Plunder. I like this deck a lot. I always enjoy seeing it do well. He definitely had an unfortunate finals. What do you think about Plunder this format?
I think it wins a lot of games from your opponent just not knowing what your cards actually do. So they don't really know how to interact with your cards. Um, that being said, I honestly don't really have an opinion about this deck. I just know that you could basically summon any of your ships against the Prank Kid deck, so like it makes sense why it does well.
In third place was Cody with a 3-axis deck. I've been playing the 3-axis deck a lot, but his is a bit different. He is playing the punk stuff, which I can understand. He is maxing out on the Foxy tunes. And he's playing massive amount of hand traps. I feel like the hand traps he's playing, like when I was playing the deck, I only wanted to play level 3 tuner hand traps because it was the tuners that you could summon for your combos. But he's playing a lot of high impact hand traps like Nib and Droll and Gamma.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Like this deck, like you don't have to full combo going second with this deck. You just really just want to like hand trap them, summon DPE, maybe dump a snow, and like summon a Baron or you know have Brave as an interruption or whatever.
He is choosing to play no material on the side, which is something I don't think I've ever seen, or at least seen in a long time. Which I feel like no material has a pretty good matchup against prank kids, or a pretty good
Y-
match into prank kids.
Yeah, you can lock them out of one of their kids effect, which is pretty cool. But the only thing I don't like about it is that the fact that if they can still just in on DPE, and sometimes that's just good enough against the 3-axis deck because they need a level 3 to stick. But his deck is a little different though because since he's playing the triple Foxy Tune, the triple E-Telly, he has a lot of ways that if they stop his initial level 3, that he can get another level 3 on the board and keep extending to play through the board.
And then fourth is Joseph's list. He played with DB Grinder. They were both part of the same team. Joseph actually ended Swiss undefeated. His list is a lot like DB Grinders, except for he's not playing Gamma as main, and he's playing Mr. Mime with Droplet.
Yeah,
But
like this deck, like we pretty much the same deck almost, just a few cards different. The deck is super strong.
fifth place is Elijah Green with another Prank Kids deck, but he is playing looks like 40 cards. I feel like if you're playing 40 cards in Prank Kids right now, you're just behind. Like I mean, not really behind, but I feel like just 60 cards is better with all like Magician Souls and everything. I feel like your deck is just a lot more powerful.
The only thing I like more about 40 cards than the 60 card list is the chances of you seeing your power cards, like your specific power cards like Nibiru or whatever, is a lot higher. Um, but the fact that you're only playing two of each kid, if you go through your turn one combo and they do interrupt you, like let's say they Valor nib you or whatever, right? Almost half your kids are in the yard or over half. And like your grind game is just gone because like literally you have DPE and that's it. Where the 60 card deck, they have dark in their extra deck. They have magician souls. They can extend through these hand traps and still end on a board where the 40 card list may be a little bit weaker than doing that.
He's playing Super Poly on the side deck, which I like a lot. I think is really good. I think it's a lot better in the mirror match than it is in most matchups. But he's playing the Starving Venom just in case, I guess.
I'm not a big fan of Super Poly. If you play around it, it's just dead.
And in sixth place we have Brendan with 60 card Dragon Link. Something interesting I like here is he's playing the 60 card Dragon Link with Right, but he's also playing Seifert. To be fair, he is only playing one Seifert, but a lot of people just don't play it.
Yeah. I think dragons are a little weird this format. The big like draw to playing a deck like this is that Chaos Ruler can dig for some of the more powerful hand traps, and this deck can play a lot of them because they only need like two cards to get started. So
I feel like with dragons is everyone just loves dragons, but I feel like with this deck specifically, it does more or less the same thing as the base decks do, but with a seal, and it doesn't do it as well or as easy as the base deck.
yeah, but your cards are better pound for pound. I would say
Yeah.
like if you don't combo, you're still at the end of the day playing Dragon Link, and all your cards are just really good.
Yep. All right, seventh place is Charlie. He's playing Sword Soul with the Despot stuff and a lot of hand traps. I like this deck a lot. I think this deck is really strong, especially going into YCS. I think a lot of people are like not giving up on it, but not playing as much. But I think this deck does more or less the same thing every game, and it's very consistent. And you can play it as like a whole bunch of hand traps, so you don't have to stress too much because you only really need to open a Tinny and a Sword Soul and some hand traps.
One thing I like about this deck is your engine is naturally just good going second. So let's say you do only open like the one hand trap or the two hand traps you do open aren't great against the opponent. Your engine's naturally good at breaking boards. So like hopefully you're just using the hand traps to weaken your opponent's board and then use your engine to actually finally break the board.
In eighth place, we have the local legend Matthew Huddleston with his very interesting take on Phantom Knights. What do you think about his list, Logan?
So me and Matt have talked about Phantom Knights a lot. And I always roast him for his ideas. 90% of the time. Like for example, why there's Kagamusha Knight in his deck.
Three of them.
I do like I do like the assault package. The only problem is he's only playing three going second cards. And sure, like if you draw droplet every game, you don't need going second cards, but I feel like at a prolonged tournament, eventually that will will like backfire. One thing I do like is the Gizmek in the side deck. I think that's very interesting. I'd say a lot of people didn't play around that. So whenever they summon the needle, he just summoned the Gizmek, right? And then you get the barrier statue, and they just lose because those decks aren't playing water cards. Um, Other than that, there isn't a lot to say about this deck. It's just extenders and gas. Like he's just going all gas, no breaks. He plays, he's using the assault package trying to break your opponent's board, and it was obviously successful. If you play against a lot of mid-range to, control decks, this is a great deck for the tournament. But if you're playing against all combo, you probably don't want to be doing this.
But good job, Matt. Proud of you. In ninth place, we have Tyreek, and he's playing 60 card dragons, and he's not playing Brave, which is interesting. I feel like Brave is really, really strong for the deck. This deck list is just interesting all around. What do you have to say about it?
It looks like a mess. There's so many one-ofs, so many things. Uh, it's just hard to dissect because there's so many one-of cards and so many cards that like do not see very much play. That like I would say that like he had some very interesting hands throughout the tournament.
And in 10th place, we have Darian with Striker. This is different than most people playing Striker right now. A lot of people are playing Fusion Destiny and DPE and even Brave in the deck. And he's choosing just to max out on going second cards. He's playing 20 to 23 going second cards.
Yeah, you're not going to catch me playing Striker without DP in my deck. Like, congratulations, you did well. And I understand going second DP is not as strong. Um, but I feel like that card does so much for the deck that it would be hard for me to not play it in a Striker list. Um, but if you do play against a lot of combo, Ray after hand trapping them 3 or 4 times is just enough a lot of the time.
11th place, we got Dominic, and he is on a Sword Soul list as well. He's playing a lot less hand traps, but he's playing drop on an Imperm. He's also playing the Cosmic. I would assume he's playing the Cosmic because he expected to play a lot of Prank Kids, and that card's just really good against Prank Kids when you're going second.
Yeah, I think this deck's really good. I really like this list. If you notice how I was talking earlier, the Charlie was only playing 2 Vishuda, but I think your engine's so good going second, I would play 3 Vishuda if I was playing this deck. He is playing 2 Ecclesia, which I understand because you don't want to draw too many normal summons. Um, but I do like a lot of the things about this list. I like the E-Tele to be able to make Yazi going second, as well as just E-Tele bring out Ghost Ogre, hit the Griffin. It basically trades with the Griffin negate every time. I think this deck's really well positioned to play in the YCS. The fact that you can make Chow Fang before you do anything, so it plays around Nib, Veiler, and Gamma, and Ogre, is really huge.
He's maxing out on his Tenyis, but he's only playing 2 Monk, which I feel like he should be playing 3, but I don't know where he would find the room for it because you really need everything in your extra deck. I feel like the extra deck for this deck is really, really tight.
Yeah, I'd say just other cards come up more.
Then we have 12th place of Michael with another Plunder deck. Um, he's playing the Braven, and again, this is just a Plunder deck. I feel like it has a decent matchup against Brain Kids. I don't really have much more to say about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same deck as the last time. Actually, I think it is the same deck as last time. Same exact deck. Maybe minus a few cards.
And we have 13th place with Thomas, and he's playing Sun Avalon. I don't really know much about Sun Avalon. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play Sun Avalon, but this is definitely a wild card in this tournament.
See, here's the thing. The only Sun Avalon lists I've ever seen play Cactus Bouncer, and that was the combo I assumed he was playing, but since I don't see Cactus Bouncer, I have no idea what he's doing. No clue. Couldn't tell you. So, if you guys know what he's doing, comment below, but I have no idea.
Somebody link me a video on what Sun Avalon does in the comments, please, because other than that, good job, Thomas, but we have no idea what you were doing in your games. 14th place, we have Austin Schaefer, and he was playing DDD. Now, towards the beginning of this format, a lot of people liked DDD, and I think it was because people like Pack were playing it, and they were doing really well with it. I think this deck is very fragile, but it can play so many hand traps, and it has a lot of good end boards. I don't like it as much as I thought I would this format. I think it's okay going to YCS, so a lot of people are probably going to play it, and a lot of people probably do well with it, but I feel like most of the time you're just going to be losing the hand traps, especially if you don't open any of your own.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of DDD. Literally since the beginning of this format, I thought this deck was kind of capped.
It's just if you stop the Link monster, usually they just can't play. And the Go card is really good. So like if you start with the Go card, you're probably gonna win that game. But how often do you start with the Go card? And in 15th place we have Caleb with another Prank Kids deck. He is playing less than 60. I think this is more or less a basic less than 60 Prank Kids deck. There's not a whole lot to talk about it. He's playing, the Ogre Ash Nibs or the hand traps that most people are playing in the Droll. He is playing the 2 Pandemonium, which a lot of people cut back. But this looks a lot like the list I was playing before I moved on to 3-axis.
Yeah, it's very similar. Like, to be honest, there's things in this deck that I just do not like. Like this, for example, like sure the Pandemonium's a little bit better in this build rather than the 60 card build because you have a higher chance of drawing multiple pranks. Um, but he's only playing 12 going second cards and three of them being draw. But if he just plays against a side deck and he only opens one hand trap, he's just gonna lose. Um, game one, which is just something I'm not a fan of. So.
We have another 16th place Chase. Last but not least, another prank kid deck. And he's using my tactics in the main, which is different. And he's not maxing out on hand traps. He's just playing a bunch of 2-ofs, which I understand the want to not open 2 of each hand trap. But I just feel like that's wrong.
Yeah,
He's
he's
also
playing a
playing 2 of
lot.
each kid. He's playing a whole bunch
Yeah,
of 2-ofs.
yeah, this is like I feel like in like 40 cards it's hard to play Magician Souls, Brave, Kids, and the hand traps, and I feel like a lot of your hands are just really bad. I feel like he just didn't want to play 60 but still want to play Magician Souls. So he just cut some of the 3 of hand traps and just threw the Magician Souls package in there and just called it a day.
Well, he's playing
And
44, so I feel like he just threw the Magician Souls package in.
I mean that's also could be true. I don't know. I don't like this type of building like
Yeah, I think it's just like there's no math in this. It's just thinking about how your hands are going to open. All right, guys, and that's our breakdown for the PPG that happened this past weekend. Again, YCS Charlotte is this upcoming weekend. We're so excited to see you guys. We're so excited to play. Hopefully, all of Goo's going to be there. So if you see any of us, just make sure you come say hey. Also, we're closing in on 600 subscribers. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. And once we get 1,000, we're still doing that massive giveaway. But we appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.